Many people get caught up and stuck, waiting for perfection to occur. They tell themselves when they find the perfect diet, when they determine that perfect workout, when their schedule somehow is perfectly set up and perfectly aligned, that's when they'll take some action and do something about their health and fitness. They find themselves waiting sometimes endlessly for the planet somehow to align and for everything to be perfectly set up before they actually start taking some action when it comes to their health and fitness. Well, if that is you, I'm here to tell you today that if you're looking for the perfect situation before you begin your journey to lose weight and take back your health and fitness, well, that perfection just simply doesn't exist. That's my opinion anyhow, based on 39 years of experience with health and fitness. However, with that being said, no need to worry because I have you covered. In fact, I'm going to be sharing with you today the importance of taking imperfect action in order to get exactly where you want to be. Let's dive in. Welcome to episode 41 of the LeRock Show, where I'm here to help you get your fitness back on track at any age and regardless of your current fitness level, so you can spend more quality time with your families, have a brighter outlook on life, and finally find the true joy that life has to offer. I'm your host, LeRock. I am thankful again today for being here and for being able to share with you this special show today. I am pumped to be hanging out with you again today, and I'm here to tell you that you're in for a special show today. Because at the end of the show, for those of you watching on YouTube, I'm going to be including a special bonus personal video of my own that talks to the subject that I'm talking about today. I'm going to be sharing a personal snapshot into my own life at a time when I took imperfect action, and you'll be able to tell me whether it got me the results that I wanted. For those of you listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, thanks for listening again today, and thanks for sharing my links to my podcast. I really appreciate it. It's really cool to watch the show grow. And remember, feel free to jump over to YouTube today at the end of the show because I will be sharing a special video at the end. And if you are watching on YouTube, thanks for coming back to watch the show. I have every confidence that if you're instilling these little tips and tricks that I'm sharing with you each week, that you're finally feeling some change in your life. And thanks for your comments and feedback, as I love to help. And it only inspires me to do more. Today's show has been put together with much care as I reflect and I think back on the imperfect actions that I have taken in my own life to get to where I am today. My hope is by the end of today's episode, you'll be inspired to stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect situation, the perfect diet, the perfect workout, the perfect time in your schedule to start making some changes in your life to improve your health and fitness. My hope is that you'll finally start taking some imperfect action today so that you can begin your journey now and arrive at your destination regardless of how bumpy the road may be on your way. By now, those that have been watching are well aware that I created my very own eating approach called Automate Your Plate that I use to personally shed 65 pounds in 13 weeks, and it's allowed me to keep the weight off for more than 15 years now. You know the story about how I started studying health and fitness at the very young age of 13. And by the time I got into my late teens, I was in amazing shape. But unfortunately, life happened. And by the young age of 27, I found myself in the state of obesity for the first time. And you also know about the fact that I used all my education and knowledge, and I managed to get myself back in shape, working out sometimes 2 to 3 hours a day, weighing all my food, counting all the calories. And you also know that 9 years later, I found myself in the state of obesity for a second time. And the second time is when I found the true answers to a lifetime of being healthy and fit. I created my very own roadmap to get myself out that I followed. And years later, I ended up writing a book called Fit Anyway, The 9 Simple Directives to Win at Weight Loss and Change Your Life Forever. It basically takes people through all 9 directives that I used in my own life to get myself back out of a state of obesity for good this time. And at the same time, what I did is I created an online course for people that wanted to have more of an in-depth knowledge of what it's all about, where I hand walk them through the whole process, giving them weekly homework and holding them accountable each week so that no stone gets left unturned. Well, part of the book and part of the online training is directive number 3. I call it Automate Your Plate. It describes what you should be eating, yes, but it gives you much control over what goes on your plate. In addition to what you should be eating, it describes what the portion sizes should be, the frequency you should be eating at, and it has automation built right into it in order to prevent you from temptation. It allows you to eat more frequently than you ever have before, while allowing you to lose significant weight in the process. It truly is a win-win eating approach. And yes, those that have tried it and followed it correctly have had amazing results. Well, as a gift of my appreciation today, I put together a free checklist that you can download today called the Automate Your Plate Checklist. It steps you through the entire Automate Your Plate process, allowing you to use it as your very own quick start guide so that you can begin automating your plate. The Automate Your Plate Checklist takes everything that I teach about this directive in my book and in my online course, and it simplifies it all down into a single page cheat sheet that you can download for free and begin using today. For those of you listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can get yourself a copy by going to ethanlerock.com/automate. And for those of you watching on YouTube, there's a link down below. You can click on it and you can get it there. Okay, today's show is going to be a very special show. My goal today is to get you unstuck and get you moving in the right direction as soon as possible. We're going to be discussing why taking the time to wait for the perfect diet, the perfect workout, the perfect situation, the perfect alignment in your schedule is really a bad thing to do. The truth of the matter, at least based on my 39 years of experience, is that perfection just doesn't exist. At least not in the way we imagine it. My personal experience is that taking imperfect action is much more rewarding than waiting for the day when we have everything figured out. Now, today's lesson is going to be shorter than they usually are each week, because at the end I've included a special bonus video, a personal video from my own personal recordings of a time in my life when I took some imperfect action. And I'll let you be the judge of whether that mattered or not. Now, by now, if you've been watching this show, you understand the importance that I put on your psychology when it comes to losing weight and maintaining a lifetime of good health and fitness. And you also understand that a big part of that is I encourage you to have a plan for your personal life, a life plan. But in today's show, I'm going to share with you the importance of not waiting for that plan to be perfect. You don't want to wait for that plan to be perfected before you start doing something, taking some action in your life. So yes, when it comes to losing weight, you need to keep in mind these two mandatory things. You need to use your mind, your psychology, in order to focus in on and determine exactly what it is that you want in your life. And when it comes to your health and fitness, you have to be really specific about what it is you want, and also the reasons that you want to have it. The reason you have to do that is because it makes things much more tangible in your mind. It makes things much more clearer when you have a purpose for where you're going. It also makes things much more clearer when you can see where you want to be. So part of that, yes, is writing out a detailed plan that includes your specific targets and goals and a date when you want to get there. And then what you do is you fill in the gap in between with your roadmap to where you want to be. It really is that simple. So after your psychology, the second most important thing and mandatory thing that you need to put into your life is you need to take control over your nutrition. And how do you go about doing that? Well, you go with that plan that we just talked about, the very first thing, part of your psychology. You need to incorporate your nutritional plan. You need to know exactly what types of food you're going to be eating, when you're going to be taking time to prepare those foods, and how you're going to be making sure that those foods are readily available at all times of the day, so that you will no longer have any kind of temptations that pull you in the wrong direction. In regard to today's show, we're talking about imperfect action. Your diet, whatever diet it is you choose, may not be perfect, but don't wait for the perfect diet to come along before you do anything. Because what I found in life is that taking action, imperfect action, many times is much more important than waiting for the perfect situation, the perfect scenario, and in this case, the perfect diet. And it is very likely that no matter what diet you choose, you're going to make some mistakes. In fact, that's quite normal. Most people make mistakes in all aspects of their life. That's how we learn. That's how we get better, and that's how we grow. It's as simple as embracing those mistakes as they happen, making little adjustments, fine-tune adjustments, and then moving forward and trying the next thing. because that is exactly how progress happens. See, most of you know by watching my show each week, you know my story. I fell into a bad place early in my life. With all my knowledge and my know-how when it comes to health and fitness. I knew everything about diet and nutrition. I knew everything about working out. I had all the little tricks and little sneaky things that you can do to lose weight quickly. I knew how to build up muscle. But in the end, you know the story. I ended up in a state of obesity not only once, but twice. So today I'm going to be sharing something a little bit different with you. A little bit of a different story about when I took imperfect action. For those of you who watched last week's show, I believe I shared with you a little bit of a story about, the intention that I set when I wanted to find a person to live the rest of my life with, and how I made an intentional plan to have her in my life. And then I talked about consistency and all that good stuff. Well, for today's show, we're talking about taking imperfect action. So I'm going to share a story about when I actually decided I was going to propose to my wife. I had been with her for 2 or 3 years, and we're getting along really well. And I decided that I wanted to propose to her. So in my mind, I thought I want to do something grandiose so that she'll never forget it. And we had met on New Year's Day. I think I shared that with you before. So what I decided is I want to actually propose to her on New Year's Eve, 5 years later. So I started planning this thing out, and I wrote out a little plan of what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something really special with her family there, and part of that was I wanted to sing her some sort of a song. So I started teaching myself guitar, teach myself the different keys on the guitar, and just so that I'd be prepared. And then as we got closer, I ended up buying tickets to this New Year's Eve bash. Okay, and I had that locked in, and I ended up buying her parents' tickets as well, so that we'd all be there together. And in my mind, I thought maybe I'll just play something to her. Maybe I'll just play something to her personal at home before we go or afterwards or something. I didn't have it all figured out, but I knew that was part of my plan. So what happened is I got the tickets, and then I read the tickets, and I read that there was a certain band playing, and my gears started turning. And I said, well, what if I call the band and ask if they'd let me come up on the stage and maybe sing a song in front of everybody for her? This is way outside my comfort zone. I have no way. I do not know how to play guitar. I don't know how to really. I don't perform in front of people, but I just wanted to do something special. And in my mind, I thought this might be something I'd be willing to try. So I call up the band, and I figure they're going to tell me, go pound salt. And I'm talking to this guy, and with 30 seconds into the conversation, he's like, that would be awesome. We'd love to have you come and do that. What's your name? He'd said what he would be wearing, where they'd be sitting, and all this stuff. And this was like just a few weeks before the whole event. So now I knew I was locked in. I couldn't back out. But the problem is I work full time. So after I come home from work, my wife's with me all the time. So how am I going to put together a special love song for my wife and be able to surprise her with this without her knowing? Because she's super sharp too. She catches on to stuff really quickly. So what I did is I taught myself the basics. I got online, I went on YouTube, and I learned some basic chords on the guitar. And I started playing taking some lessons, getting my fingers so they could actually move properly. Then I had to learn how to strum as I'm doing my chords. And it was all, she was cool with that. I was teaching myself guitar. That's all she knew. But then as it was getting closer to the day, I needed to figure out a song. I didn't have a song figured out yet. And remember, this all started with just a plan that wasn't perfect. So she went shopping with her mom one day, and I sat there for like 2 hours looking for the perfect song. I find the song that I like. I start doing a few of the chords from the song. I hear her pulling up in the driveway, and that's it. She's home, and things are back to normal. I'm just playing some other song, blah, 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 and she has no clue. Well, this happened two other times only. I got to practice this song that I decided to play for her, and then I had to put it away. And then the day came when it was time. So what I did, this is New Year's Eve, snow everywhere. I run out, she's gone grocery shopping. I run out, I throw my guitar in the trunk of the car. I cover it with a bunch of stuff so she has no clue. And me and her parents go to this New Year's Eve event. and my knees are knocking. I'm terrified because there's like 800 people at this event, and I'm going to be going up on the stage to sing this song to my future wife. So I get in there and I tell myself I'm not going to drink anything. We're not going to drink any alcohol because I want to have my head on straight at least as I try to do this thing. And I'm sitting at the table and we're all having a good time. And she's kind of thinking, this is kind of odd. It's New Year's Eve and Ethan's not drinking anything. And she asked me, I said, I'm pacing myself tonight. So I go and I look over at the place where the band's supposed to be. And I walk over and nobody's there. So I come back. And then I try to get up. I'm trying not to make it obvious. I try to get up again and I go, I'm going to go get some drinks. I get her drinks. And as I'm looking, I can't find anybody again. So in my mind, what I told myself was, forget it. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to go home and I'll play her something nice tonight and I'll propose to her tonight after I'm done playing her a song. Well, as I'm walking back with the drinks to see my wife, this guy is right in my path and he looks at me. And I don't know if it was a signal I was giving off or what, because we didn't know each other. We'd never met. He went, "You're Ethan, aren't you?" I went, "Yeah." He goes, "It's Frank. I'm the guy from the band." And I went, "Oh." He goes, "Tell you what, after the next set, I'll call you up." And I was like, holy crap, this is real. So I go, "Well, he says, do you have a guitar?" I said, "I do. I brought one in my trunk just in case you guys didn't have one." He goes, "The one I have, the acoustic's kind of crappy. If you want to grab yours, I'll help you." So this guy was really cool. We went outside. It's a blizzard out. We run out there, grab the guitar, come back in. He goes, "I'll warm up the guitar. And once I'm done playing this song on the stage, you're coming up." So we're all sitting around the table. Now I'm really nervous. My knees are knocking. There's a couple that I met to my right that I'd never met before. I just met them that night. We're having a good conversation all night. And basically they're sitting there and we're all having a really good time. Her parents are there with us. And all of a sudden the guy on the stage gets up and he has my guitar and he's playing like Carlos Santana. He's all over this thing, right? Just amazing. And I'm like, oh no, my wife's gonna notice because it's kind of a real unique guitar that I bought. And she's gonna notice. Well, she didn't pick up on anything, right? It's just all in my head because I'm worried about it. And all of a sudden he calls my name and says, Ethan, come up to the stage. And I look over to this guy I never met before. And I have this camera that I bought. I push record and I hand it to the guy and I said, just point it at the stage. And I run up on the stage and I get it. I pull, the guy has my guitar. He hands it to me. I put it on and I managed to start singing this song in front of all these people. And I call my wife up and I tell her to come up a little closer so she can see. And all these people are gathering around now. And I sing this song. And I mean, I did an okay job at it, but I'm sure I bludgeoned that thing pretty good too. I forgot some words in the song, and it was rocky and it was nerve wracking and it was kind of crazy, and it wasn't perfect. But I'm telling you, there's no way it was even close to being a perfect situation. But in the end, it didn't matter, because at the end, I came up to her, I proposed, and 13 years later, we're married. Now that's a long story that I'm sharing with you today. It's a personal story about a time in my life when I took imperfect action. I didn't wait till things were perfect. I just knew where I wanted to be. I knew what I wanted. I did the same with my health and fitness. There's all kinds of stories I could be sharing with you, but that's a personal one that I wanted to share with you today because it means so much to me. It really, really makes me think, and it has an impact on this whole message that I'm sending today, that you don't need to take perfect action. You don't have to wait until everything's perfect. You don't have to wait until all the planets are aligned and your schedule is clear for you to start doing something about your health and fitness, for you to start taking back your life, for you to start doing all those things in life that you want to do. It's all a matter of doing something, putting a plan in place, setting a date for where you want to be, and then filling in the gap in between with your own path, your own roadmap that you spell out. And you make adjustments along the way like I did. And in this situation, it was nerve-wracking. I did all of this under pressure, but in the end, I did it, right? I got up on that stage, right? I proposed, right? And I did what I had to do. And it all turned out. Didn't matter how imperfect it was. Now, like I said, I'm going to keep the show short today because in summary, there's only 2 things that are mandatory when it comes to changing your life, losing weight, and taking back your health and fitness. The first one is addressing your psychology, getting that focus in mind, knowing exactly what you want, the reasons behind why you want to do it, and then creating a plan that will get you there. And that second thing is that plan needs to include your nutrition, because without nutrition, you really don't have a chance when it comes to your health and fitness. You really need to take charge of your nutrition. You need to have a well-balanced diet, whatever diet it is you find. And you need to include that in your plan. Exactly what you're going to eat, when you're going to be preparing those meals, how you're going to keep those meals with you at all times so you don't have any temptation in your life. With those 2 things, then you don't really need anything else to have a lifetime of good health and fitness. But by all means, don't wait for the perfect scenario, the perfect situation in your life, and the perfect diet before you do any of that. Because taking action today is way more important. And you might notice that I didn't say anything about exercise being mandatory. Exercise isn't mandatory when it comes to losing weight. That's the truth. It'll help you get there quicker. It's a much more efficient way to get there, but it isn't necessary in order for you to lose weight. And that's one of those misconceptions that they have out there, that they tell you that you need to do this workout in order to lose weight, in order to have a lifetime of health and fitness. Now, I do advise personally you get some cardio in the day, okay? That you get some walking in your life. And I personally enjoy physical activity. I like resistance training because it builds my muscles, which helps me burn fat, which helps crank up my metabolism. So I'm burning more calories just when I'm sitting. It's a no-brainer, but it's not mandatory that you do that. All you need to do is have your psychology right and be in charge of your nutrition and have that in a plan. And you'll be well on your way for a lifetime of good health and fitness. But no matter what you choose, do not allow yourself to sit and wait for the perfect moment. Sit and wait for the perfect workout or the perfect diet or the perfect schedule in your life. That time when you're going to have all this free time. You need to make that happen. That's the truth of it all. Take some imperfect action today. Do what you have to do. And I'm telling you, you won't regret it. Yes, you will make some mistakes. It's very likely. But that's how you're going to learn, and that's how you're going to get good at this thing. And that's how you're going to be where I am today. Living a lifetime of being healthy and fit. More than 15 years now since I shed all that weight, and I've never looked back. And if you don't have a clue when it comes to your nutrition, then I definitely can help you out there. You see, I've tried every type of diet there is out there. I had all kinds of struggles with dieting. I have over 39 years of experience when it comes to health and fitness, so dieting was a big part of that. And in the end, I was forced to create my very own eating approach. I call it Automate Your Plate. It has worked wonders for me. It helped me to lose 65 pounds in 13 weeks. And the coolest part, it's been more than 15 years now, and I've maintained a very healthy and fit body. Others that have tried it and followed it correctly have had amazing results as well. So as a gift to you today, I've made it so you can go ahead and download your very own free copy of my Automate Your Plate checklist. The Automate Your Plate checklist takes you through the whole process of automating your plate in a simplified, step-by-step way. It cuts out all the confusion, allowing you to begin automating your plate as soon as possible. That's right, it takes everything that I teach about this directive in my book and in the online course, and it simplifies it all down into a single page cheat sheet that you can download for free today and begin using and benefiting from right away. Just go to ethanlerock.com/automate. And if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below. You can click on it and you can download it right away. And before we go, I'm curious. Please leave me a comment or some feedback about a time in your life when maybe your knees were knocking, when you didn't have it all figured out, but you knew you set a plan in place to what you wanted in life, and you decided to take some action, and how you got there. Because I bet there was a time in your life that something like that happened, and I'd love to hear about it. So like I shared earlier, for those of you watching on YouTube, there is going to be a little bonus video that I add in after I sign off today. So don't forget to hang out after I say goodbye. And as always, I'm thankful for being here today, and thankful that you've been hanging out with me today, allowing me to share another one of my little valuable lessons with you. in order to help you to get you to where you want to be in the most efficient way possible. Yes, in order to inspire you to take imperfect action today. Have a blessed day and remainder of the week. And until we meet again, stay healthy, be happy, and live your life with intention every single day. Okay, I just shared with you the story about some imperfect action that I took when I decided I was going to propose to my wife. Well, today, the bonus that I'm sharing at the end of this video is from that day, from the night that I decided I was going to propose to my wife. Now, the footage isn't perfect, and what I did isn't perfect either. But what I'm trying to show to you is when you decided to have courage and push through even when your knees are knocking, even when the plan isn't perfect, even when you don't know how it's going to turn out, then often you'll get the results that you're looking for, the same way that I did. You see, I was willing to stay focused and take some imperfect action because there was something that was very dear and special to me. And I hope the same for you in your life.
Point. People, I think you want to stick around for this. You might want to see this. Ethan, where are you, Ethan? Ethan, if you're around, we need you up here right now. There he is. Here he is, Ethan. Hang on. We got a little surprise here for you today. Special guest.
Alright, thanks guys. 5 years ago this very night, I met the woman of my dreams. And ever since then my life hasn't been the same. So I figured I was going to request a song tonight. I figured I'd do one up. A little better. Huh? Come here for a minute. Sorry guys, it's a little mushy for you. But
Come on. Get over here.
now you know we're together all the time and I never have any time by myself. Because that's just the way we are. So it's hard for me to sneak this out and give you a surprise. In front of like 700 people. So quickly out of the fear here. Anyhow, I'm just a rookie musician and I practice this for you. This song's for you. I wanna make you smile. I don't know. All I wanna do is go on with you. I wanna grow old with you.
Ethan, you rule, buddy!
One more thing.
Hang on, people. He's got one more thing. I think he's ready to go now. Ladies and gentlemen, he's proposing right at this moment. And she said, I think she said yes.
I think she
Yes?
did.
Yes, she said yes.
She said yes.
Guys, congratulations. Ethan, that was fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we have about 28 minutes left. Hey, Joe, did you learn something? Hey, Joe, tell us all. Joe, you taking notes? Ladies and gentlemen, we got 28 minutes left to do this. Come on now, it's party time. try this again. This is bullshit. Are you kidding? Come on, let me hear you. And I sing. That's not good enough.
That's about a 5 out of 10.
That's not good enough. Here we go again. And I say. Ethan's got it.
What's going on? And I what's going on? And I what's going on? 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill.